surrender of the enemy in August 1945 came the end of the Second World War in the Pacific Theater. The cessation of hostilities was marked by many ceremonies, such as this between American and Japanese military. These ceremonies were usually carried out with strict formality and in an orderly manner. By force of arms, the United States had seized and occupied a vast watery area of the western Pacific Ocean, with 96 inhabited islands and nearly 55,000 people living on them. The territory lies north of the equator. To the northwest is Japan. To the west are the Philippines. To the southwest is New Guinea. To the north are Wake and Midway. To the northeast are the Hawaiian Islands. And still farther east and north is continental United States. The total area is approximately 3 million square miles, which is roughly the equivalent in size to continental United States. However, the land area is only 685 square miles, about half the size of the state of Rhode Island. The principal divisions of the territory are the Marshall Islands to the east, the Northern Marianas, the Western Caroline Islands, and the Eastern Carolines. From Toby Island in the extreme west of the Carolines to Mealy in the extreme east of the Marshalls is about 2,400 nautical miles. From Truk in the Eastern Carolines, it is 4,200 miles to Pearl Harbor and 6,000 miles to San Francisco. Going the other way, it is nearly 2,000 miles to Manila and 1,800 miles to Tokyo. Now, let's look more closely at the four divisions. In the Marianas are many islands, including Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. But Guam is not part of the Trust territory because it has been an American possession for more than 50 years. In the Western Carolines are Toby, Koror, and Peleliu in the Palau Island group, and Yap. The Eastern Carolines are divided into two districts: the Truk district containing the island of Truk, and the Ponape district containing the island of Ponape. In the Marshalls are Eniwetok, Bikini, Kwajalein, and Mealy. The Majuro Atoll is only a dot on this map, but it is typical of these clusters of low coral islands, 21 miles long and 3 to 6 miles wide. A recent map of this single atoll, made by American cartographers, reveals 65 islands, each with its own Marshallese name. Such is the physical complexity of the territory that is so appropriately called Micronesia, meaning the tiny islands. It is believed that the territory was settled, perhaps before the Christian era, by canoe voyaging immigrants from the marginal islands of the Malay Sea. The Nan Matal ruins on the east coast of Ponape are the remains of a walled city in which are hexagonal stones larger than those in the great pyramids of Egypt. No one knows how the ancient Ponapeans were able to place these quarried rocks that weigh as much as 15 tons. Nor can the scholars determine when and by whom this temple was constructed on Tinian. The islanders call it the House of Taga. The Spaniards came in the early 17th century. On Ponape, this mission and wall are evidence of the Spanish rule which continued until 1898. Deeds written in the Spanish language now and then are concerned in land disputes. More frequently, deeds are in German with Japanese notations, for the Germans were in possession for the first decade of the 20th century. Still standing are a few Japanese monuments to commemorate the achievements of their people in the islands. Within a span of only 50 years, these simple people have been governed by Spain, Germany, Japan, and now the United States. They were inevitably influenced in language and in customs by all of them, but the placid, happy life in the villages still goes on. Whether on the high volcanic islands or on the low coral atolls, the islanders move about freely, visiting their neighbors or offering their possessions, handicraft and foodstuffs for sale or barter. Despite their exposure to other cultures and the persuasive efforts of each authority to change them, They persist in cherishing many of the old symbols, of which the men's clubhouse under construction here is typical. It is called an abai, A-B-A-I, and it is the traditional center of community life. However, it is a men's house, for until recently, women had only a limited social and political standing in the islands. The men built their clubhouses and they occupied them exclusively. Native trees are hand-hewn into rafters and are secured not with nails but with twine. It is a community project in which all the adult males participate. The facade of each abai is painted with vegetable and mineral colors and according to the whim of the village or the artist. Sometimes the designs are purely decorative. On other houses, a crude attempt is made to record some event peculiar to that community. Here is authentic primitive painting. A man is likely to pay at least one visit a day to the clubhouse. More than once a day, he prepares a betel nut for chewing. The nut is seasoned with pulverized branch coral. It is wrapped in a leaf from the pepper plant, which is always ready for picking. Betel nut is a mild stimulant and is commonly used in various areas of the Western Pacific. Like most of the necessities of the islanders, the coral is there for the taking. It is bleached and purified in a hot fire. The gleaming white branches are placed in a basket and then are slaked with water. After they are pounded to a powder, the pulverized lime is placed in a shaker made of bamboo. Not all of the essentials to life are free. The islanders have their own medium of exchange. The stone money consists of limestone discs, some as large as 12 feet in diameter. A big one may buy a house, a small one a canoe. For lesser transactions, shell money is used. Before a sale is completed, there are long and animated discussions which are followed with relish by the men of the village. The people love to talk and to laugh, to sing and to dance, and they are sensible, too, of the beauty of the sea by day and the stars by night, and of the brilliant flowers that flame in the lush jungle or at the door of their huts. Even the men are fond of decking themselves with bright blossoms. This happy oldster carries a fishing spear and a handbag that always goes with him, for it is obvious he has no pockets, and he must carry a supply of betel nut along with a shaker of lime. These young women are strolling with a purpose, on their way to a dance. Children, it seems, are much the same everywhere. They imitate their elders, they sail toy boats, they play games. The most important growing thing on the islands, and for many reasons, is the coconut palm. Delicious salads are made from the sprouting nuts and the hearts of the palm. The coconut husks are used for fires, and the oil is burned in lamps. Copra, the dried meat, yields rich oils that represent 80% of the dollar value of the exports from the islands. The oils are used in the manufacture of soap, margarine, and other products. The trade in copra was begun more than 100 years ago. The coconut fibers are deftly twisted into twine. The palm leaves are woven into mats for the houses or partitions that divide a hut into separate rooms. Roofs are thatched with the big fronds, and the smaller fronds are fashioned into baskets and other articles. To most of the islanders, the coconut means principally a food that is both delightful and healthful, as well as easily accessible. There is water in the green nuts, and the mature nuts provide food and milk. Tapioca is grown in the home gardens, and so are yams. Much of the sugar cane was destroyed in the war, but it is still cultivated to a limited extent. Rice was introduced by the Japanese, and those familiar cans of corned beef were an American importation. One of the principal foods of islanders is taro, which is harvested all year round.